We are either going to feel uneasy pushing past our self-imposed limits, breaking boundaries, and becoming who our dream being is, or we are going to feel it as we sit and mull over fears we fabricated just to justify why we refuse to stand and begin. So hey guys, we're talking about another book today that everybody must read, which is The Mountain Is You by Brianna West. So at the beginning of the book, the mountain is actually described as a gap between the person you want to be and the person you are now. But later on in this video, I'm going to be telling you a new concept about what the mountain actually truly is. So stay tuned. So to stop self-sabotaging, you must actually come to terms with the greatest form of love, which is to no longer accept a life that you're unhappy with. Either choose to make peace or to make change, which I talked about in my other video in Saw by TD Jakes on the side. So the thing is, the reason why we self-sabotage is because we have a negative association between the person we want to be and the person that we currently are. And so, to be sure that we're actually not self-sabotaging, I'm going to be talking about 3 different signs that Miss Brianna talked about that show that you might just be self-sabotaging. So let's get into it. So I'm sorry, I was actually lying to you guys. There is actually no such thing as self-sabotage. But wait, hear me out. So apparently, self-sabotage is a way of us protecting ourselves. It is the confliction between our conscious desires and our unconscious desires. The reason why you are doing those things, like it's a whole lot deeper than the surface you doing those kind of things. And so 3 different things that show that you're actually self-sabotaging. Let's talk about the first one, which is resistance. I know we've all been in those moments where we actually wanted to do something really important and we just couldn't bring ourselves to do it. Well, that is resistance. Resistance only actually shows up when we are doing something that's actually very, very important that can actually change the reality of our lives. And sometimes, even though we know that this thing is good for us, we can't just bring ourselves to do it. So, Ms. Brianna West just simply recommends that whenever we see ourselves in this kind of situation, we should simply just sit down and figure out why we want to do this and what is the real focus of us doing this. By figuring out what we really want, we figure out why we're actually being resistant to us doing this thing and to help us to completely overcome this. And so the next one I want to talk about is the upper limit. So the upper limit is when you've started achieving your goals, things have started becoming good for you, they've started having so much love and cherishment in that particular relationship, and then all of a sudden you just subconsciously or consciously start doing things to sabotage the life you're happy that you're currently with because you're not used to that level of happiness, you're not used to that level of joy. And so Miss Brianna does simply recommend that in that kind of situation, you should slowly just adjust yourself to let yourself know that this is the new level of happiness that we are accustomed to. This is the new life that we live in. We now read every day. We now wake up every day early in the morning. It is normal, and we're not going to self-sabotage ourselves for that. And so the third one, from which she talks about, was uprooting. This is the case whereby you have a cycle of continuously uprooting yourself at a particular point where you're only comfortable with sprouting, but you're not comfortable with keeping your roots inside of them. So Miss Bernard just simply tells us that we should actually figure out at what point in the cycle we keep uprooting ourselves. And so if we are conscious of it, we can consciously control it. And I know I said 3, but I have to talk about this one because this one got my heart. So the fear of failing. And then we've all been at this point where we actually want to start doing this particular thing and we're like, God, I don't want to do this, I don't want to look like a loser, I don't want to look like somebody who don't sabi and all those kind of things. But Miss Brenner actually tells us something that there are 2 types of failure. There's the failure that comes from doing something new, and there's the failure that comes from you not even trying at all. So if you think that by not trying at all, you're not failing, you're still failing. So either way, you're going to fail. So you have to just choose the kind of failure that you want for yourself. You might actually fail at the beginning, but along the way, things will start improving, and that failure will not just become failure, but it will become progress. And so it depends on you. So this particular time, she talks about a lot of different things: justification, jealousy. Well, but if I want to go into all of them, I won't even have the time. Yeah, we don't understand that these things that we actually do are not actually the problem. They're actually symptoms. Those things that we do are actually our core commitments, which we do to fulfill a core need. I talked about how before we do these kind of things to fulfill something inside of us. And so the less you feed your core need, the more that you see that your core commitments come to life. So the reason why you're doing those things is because of a core need. But what triggers you to do those core commitments? Let's talk about a few of those triggers. But these things don't just happen on their own. They come because of particular feelings. So let's discuss those particular triggers that will cause you to keep self-sabotaging. And so the first one she talked about is anger, which is an influx motivation that helps us to change what we actually need to change in our life. We now next thing we suffer is embarrassment, which comes from us doing something that we are not actually proud of. And then guilt, it tends to show up for things that we actually didn't do more than for things that we actually did do. And then the next one that she talked about, jealousy. This one really, really hit me hard. You know, if you want to know what you want out of your life, look at somebody that you're actually jealous of. So she just talked about how jealousy is just actually showing you what you need to actually change in your life. And then the last one, the one that really spoke to me was regret. Apparently, people think that regret shows us what we wish that we did in our past. But actually, regret actually shows us what we actually need to be doing in our future. And so those feelings are, let's just say, not just feelings, but triggers that actually show us something deeper within us. So, which self sabotage triggers or which self sabotage feelings do you feel you're falling victim to? Be sure to comment down below. And so we cannot actually allow our feelings to control us, because feelings do not make the right decisions. The right decisions bring about the right feeling. And then our instincts are also not our feelings. Our instincts are based on past things that happened to us. The thing is that your instincts can't predict a future event because it does not have the data to reflect that. Feelings are just a reflection of your thoughts, they're not a reflection of your reality. While instinctive thoughts create solutions to problems, intrusive thoughts find a way to actually create those problems in your mind. Instinctive thoughts are actually calm thoughts, while intrusive thoughts are actually thoughts that actually cause, you know, lack of rest in your body. For us to conquer self is to master our feelings. So first of all, we must be aware of them, and then we must trace them to what they are actually coming from and what they are actually trying to tell us, and then we must actually address them effectively. But we all know that the reason why we're here is because we've not been addressing them effectively. But to act accordingly, we must actually tap into something called the EQ. Emotional intelligence is just simply the ability to interpret the sensations that come in our body and understand what they're actually trying to tell us. Self sabotage is just simply a product of low emotional intelligence, And Thomas Kuhn explains it as the
Paradigm.
shift. So, if we want to actually change our life, we have to actually change our life in micro shifts. If we want to start exercising every day, just start with 10 minutes a day. If you want to do something that will actually change your life, it starts with little micro changes. The only way to actually overcome the fear of the unknown is by familiarizing yourself with it and making it more normal to your current self. Because either way, mental strength is not just thinking that everything will just be right all the time, but having the capacity to deal with those things when they go wrong is actually where mental strength comes from. Because fear is not going to protect us, action is. Worry is not going to protect us, preparing is. Overthinking is not going to protect us, understanding is. And so she just simply tells us here that we are either going to feel uneasy pushing past our self-imposed limits, breaking boundaries, and becoming who our dream being is, or we are going to feel it as we sit and mull over fears we fabricated just to justify why we refuse to stand and begin. And so the growth is for you, the change is yours. And then she also talks about this part that there's no reason for you to come and post your change around for people to validate it for you. The only reason why you would actually feel like you need to do that is because you on your own, within yourself, you have not validated the fact that you have actually changed. And so when true change truly comes is when you accept it for yourself and you don't need the validation of others to tell you that your life is truly taking a change for the better. And so she talked about something that's really stood out for me, which is building a new future. Okay, she told us that we should think of our higher self, our older self, and we're better than the current version that we are now. Think about her age, think about what she'll be wearing, her attitude, and all manner of different things that she will be doing. And this exercise really controlled me. I don't know, it was really crazy. She was just like, think about all the kind of things that your higher self or your older self will tell you to do right now that will be the most important things to yourself in your life. What would your higher self tell you to do? So that's just simply what that exercise was about. And in the end, you should just imagine your higher self handing over the keys of life into your hands. Like Sam Cost says, your younger self is waiting for you to become something great, and your future self is laughing at you and telling people that you ain't doing shit. And so it's the time for you to prepare. She talks about how one should master themselves, you know. And she said that we should shift from a living for the moment kind of mindset to a living for the legacy kind of mindset. And so we're actually capable of stopping ourselves from getting to the point that we're meant to be. And so we should also be able to get ourselves to the point that we're actually meant to be. So to master oneself is to take responsibility of both things that we can control and the ones that we cannot. Because to master oneself is not just to be reactive but to be responsive. Yes, you cannot control some of the things that happen, but to master yourself, you actually cannot control the things that happen, but you can control the way that you react. And so that's where mastering oneself actually comes from. And remember I told you something at the beginning of this video that I will actually tell you another meaning for what the mountain truly is. Mountain actually isn't you, like you as a person, but like the mountain is the current you, the current habits, the current things that you are doing now that are in between who you want to be. I wouldn't even say it's a distance between who you want to be, but that person that you are right now, not you as a human being, but like the stage where you are right now, is that mountain. And very soon you will pass that mountain and you will become your higher self. And it should just be a simple mountain that you can barely see from behind you. And that is for me what the mountain issue is truly actually about. Coming to terms to like understand yourself with like who you truly are. Not looking for other people to validate your feelings, because apparently you told us that when you try to look for other people to validate your feelings for yourself, they actually never work. But learning to come to validate your feelings for yourself and completely understand what you're actually trying to say to yourself is where true emotional intelligence comes from. And through that is how you can actually overcome the mountain, which is your current you. So yeah, mind blowing, right? If you're enjoying the book review so far and you'd actually want to review more books and talk about them in different perspectives, then you should subscribe to this channel now, because every week we're talking about different ways to develop ourselves through books and through other mediums like the Bible. So be sure to subscribe, because we are here building a community of people that are ready to develop every single week by Friday. Me that we've been talking about the book my head though, because this book contains a whole lot of content. It actually just shows us the power of our mind when it comes to achieving a whole lot of things. And so she also said that I don't even know I'm skip adding points, but if you actually expect something to be good, it will actually be good. It might not go exactly as you planned it to be, but it will actually come out as you expect. And so we will just learn to have high emotional intelligence and learn to interpret our feelings in a better way. And I guess I'll see you guys another day on this channel. I hope you guys enjoyed this book. I know that a lot of people have been looking for the mountain review. And so this is just like a brief summary of the whole lot of impact inside the book. It's a really short book, but the content of it is absolutely powerful. And so sometime around the March, if you really love Brianna West, I'll be doing the passing year. So just subscribe if you also want to be part of that book review. If you actually want to learn how to read more books than the average human being, and so that you can actually reach your reading goals this month, I'll be leaving this video by the side, and so that you can actually achieve your reading goals for this year. And be sure to subscribe if you want to learn more about different books, and to ensure that you're developing your mind every single time on this YouTube. So be sure to subscribe to this channel. I'll see you guys another day on this channel. How many times have I said channel? Oh god. Bye guys.